Hey everyone, and thanks for joining today's webinar, How to Prevent Malware Downloads from Malicious Links, hosted by Votiro Director of Sales Engineering, Henry Frith. We're so glad you could join us today. After the webinar, we will follow up with today's presentation slides, but also feel free to check out additional content in the attachment section below. If you have any questions during the webinar, just send them our way and we will host a Q&A at the end. So without further ado, let's dive in. Henry, take it away.
Thank you, Lexi. Again, my name is Henry Frith, Director of Sales Engineering at Votiro. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how to prevent malware downloads from malicious links. For our agenda, we're going to talk about why are bad actors using links. We're going to talk about link-based attacks and show a demo of an attack. And then we'll talk about preventing malware from downloads using Votiro's positive selection, content, disarm, and reconstruct technology. Then we'll actually sanitize a clean file as well as a weaponized file so you can see the difference. And then we'll have some closing thoughts and we'll do question and answers after that. Why are bad actors using links? Online research shows that 99% of weaponized attachments are stopped by secure email gateways. Security tools like secure email gateways can't detect, prevent 40% of malicious links. So that would make sense then that the bad actors would move away from weaponized attachments and move over to weaponized malicious links. So malicious links lead to one of two locations, either a credential phish or file sharing website that hosts malicious file. Social engineering and other methods used to trick the end user into clicking on links that then download the malicious file. And 85% of all incidents involve human error, according to the Verizon data breach report. So our first demo I'd like to show you is we're going to take a virtual Windows 10 Pro that has Office 365 installed. And then we're going to use Kali Linux VM running Metasploit reverse shell to deliver a weaponized Microsoft Word macro. We're going to click on the macro, click on the malicious link in the email, download the file, open a password protected Word document, enable content, and get owned. And we're going to show control of the Windows 10 system in Metasploit reverse shell. I'd like to show you an example of what a real world threat might look like. So what we have is a Windows 10 VM and a Kali Linux VM running Metasploit. And if I do a session -I, you'll see there are no sessions running at the moment, but it is set up to be a command and control center for my exploit that I'll be running. So the first thing it did was, as if I'm the bad actor, I would have went out and done my reconnaissance and determined what my target is. In this case, my target is a tech company called Tech Inc. So I do my reconnaissance, and the first thing I want to do is find someone to be the actual target inside the organization. So I use LinkedIn, and I find there's an admin, system admin by the name of Henry. And Henry is very excited about his new position at Tech Inc. So he took a photo of his ID card with his photo on it and posted it on LinkedIn. Well, one thing that contained was his employee ID. So I've got a good target now. I know quite a bit about Henry. I have his employee ID. So I need another internal person to spoof their address to send my attack at Henry. So I choose Sarah Smith, who is the VP of Human Resources. And it's very easy to do a display name spoof of Sarah, and I can have a Gmail account or whatever. But I really have to spend extra effort to make sure that Henry believes this email is coming from an internal trusted employee, so that he'll follow the directions that I'm sending to them. So what I did was I went out and registered a lookalike domain. So if you look, it's instead of Sarah Smith at techinc.com, it's actually techlnc.com. But a quick look, and it's hard to tell the difference. So the display name spoof will help me get this email to be followed, so that Henry will follow my directions. And I'm going to take multiple steps as a bad actor to make sure that my threat is delivered. Instead of sending it as an attachment, because I know secure email gateways are very good at catching attachments, I'm going to send my threat via URL. And to make sure that URL has a good reputation, I'm going to use a box, and I'll just set up a free box account to deliver my malware. So I have to get Henry to download the Word document from box, then open a password protected file. I'm password protecting it to make sure that it gets past any AV up until AV reputation, anything that might stop it on the way to getting to Henry's desktop for him to open it. And then the last thing I have to get Henry to do after he's opened this password protected Word document is enable content. So again, the fact that it looks like it's coming from a trusted internal employee, it's downloaded from a trusted website, and the directions are there. It's well crafted. I believe I can trick Henry into launching my exploit. So if we click on download link, you'll see that there is a file from Box that is ready to be downloaded. Let me jump back just a little bit, and also just to explain what I've done here was we said that this is a survey that is asked whether the users want to go back to work in the office or whether they want to work remotely or hybrid. So again, something, a lure that we think Henry will respond to. So Henry clicks download from a trusted box site. The file is downloaded, and now all I have to do is open the file. So again, my last four, or Henry's last four, is the password. So Henry enters 1, 2, 3, 4, the last four of his ID, and we open the file. And it's exactly what Henry was expected. It's a document from Tech Inc. If we scroll down, you'll see that it came from Sarah Smith, VP of Human Resource, and it's a survey. And Henry goes, well, yeah, I want to work from home. And he clicks on it, nothing happens. And he remembers in the email, it said that you had to enable content to get the survey to work. Also, just as a reminder, the bad actor added that to the document just to make sure that Henry remembered to enable content. So if you watch over in my Metasploit window, as soon as we click enable content, instantly a reverse shell is open. So once there's a reverse shell, if I do sessions -I again, you'll now see that there's a reverse shell to Henry's desktop. if I do sessions minus session ID, which is 60, connected, I can now do ls, see everything, what directories are there. I can change to a directory, change to documents, look and see if there's anything there that's good that I'd like to have. If I do help, you can see there are multiple pages of different commands that I have to execute from here. I can do things like get system, escalate my system privileges, start to move laterally, live off the land as much as possible, use as many built-in Windows tools as I can to, to move laterally in the organization till I can take control maybe of a domain controller. And at that point, I can deliver my exploit. Another thing that's happening here is at this point, a lot of bad actors are actually just looking for to gain access and then sell this access on the black market. They will install a Trojan, usually the older banking Trojans that have been remodified to be a framework for delivering additional malware. So they'll install their additional payloads. They do this low and slow. And at that point, they can sell this system. So multiple uses and multiple things I can do when I get to this point. So that I'm going to stop the demo for now, and we'll move on from here. So as you saw in that demo, we were able to bypass secure email gateways by leveraging a link with a malicious file at the end. We added additional levels of protection from our file being called by a password protecting that. So again, we're able to trick Henry into executing that exploit, and the malicious actor was able to take control. So what can we do to protect that? Start with, I think one of the big things is we've been approaching file security all wrong for the last 20 years or so. For decades, we've relied on signatures and heuristic-based antivirus, as well as sandboxing to find known bad threats. So we've been looking for the bad. How can we find the bad? Well, as you see, the bad actors are always looking for ways to hide the bad thing they're doing. They're constantly changing, constantly shifting. Again, a few years ago, it was all about weaponized attachments. Now it's URLs, and tomorrow it'll be something different. So unlike the above solutions, Votiro positive selection, CDR, we single out the safe elements of each file. So all we're doing is making sure that all of the elements of the file are good, and we leave behind anything that's not good. So if we look at step one below, we bring in a file. The first thing that we do is step two is we make sure the true type is correct. If it says it's a Word document, we make sure that it actually is a Word document. After that, we look at all of the elements. After that, we create a new clean template, and we start to move each of the components of that file over to a clean new template. So if it is a Word document like the Word file that we just did in our demo, we have a clean template for a Word file. We only move over elements that we know are good. So we take every file, no matter what the file is, and we go through the same process. We create a new template for that file, and we only move over the objects and portions of that file that we know are good. So at the end, we end up with a clean file. And this is kind of a high level, this kind of represents what we're doing. So if you look, we receive a PDF in, we take that PDF file and we create a new template, a new PDF template and we start to move each portion of that over that belongs there. So we bring all of the good content over and we leave anything else behind. So the malware is left behind. At the end, you have a sanitized PDF file with no malware in it. And we do this extremely fast. This is, in milliseconds, extremely large, complex files we can do in, in a few seconds. So if you take a sandbox that may take, 3 minutes to 30 minutes to get a result back, this is completely different technology. We're sanitizing these files in as near real time as possible, and that's the way we're able to use this technology as for web downloads with web browsers. We do this with over 150 different file types. So we support all the major file types. Again, 150 different file types. And we have the Votiro Secure File Gateway. It uses what we refer to as positive selection technology. And then we have the Secure File Gateway for email, Secure File Gateway for web downloads, and Secure File Web Gateway for web uploads. Email, even the password protected files, same way with web downloads. We work with password protected files. We work with really any web-based website, Dropbox, Box, any file sharing. And then web uploads. We have integration with S3 buckets. We have APIs that we can integrate with pretty much any any file upload portal that our customers are building, and we have integration in with third-party products also. Okay, I'd like to do one more quick demo, and same configuration, a virtual Windows 10 Kali Linux. I'm going to enable the Votiro Secure File Gateway for web downloads this time. So I'll download a clean PDF file just to show you how fast it is. Again, we sanitize every file, so I'll download a clean PDF file, and then we'll download that password protected weaponized Word document that we used in the first demo, and we'll show that all the malicious macro was removed. For this demo, I've enabled the Votiro web download plugin, and you can see this up in the toolbar here. The Votiro plugin works with Chrome or Edge, and on Chrome it works in Windows or Mac, and of course Edge is for Windows. So again, this is extremely fast. It does not impact the end user's performance. The only difference will be they'll see a little pop-up on the bottom right as they download a file. Can be customized if you want to disable that for your employees. So I'm going to go to a website and download a free copy of The Art of War in PDF. So again, this is a clean document. And when I download it, we'll see a little pop-up on the right, but that should be everything that we see. So there it was, download requested and sanitized. So you can see The Art of War, and I'd already downloaded it once before, so it was already there. So it's downloaded, it's cleaned. I can click and open that, and you'll see the file was just as it meant to be. So near real time, the end user would not even notice the difference if it hadn't been for the little pop-up. To save time, I have a direct link to the weaponized document that we use, password protected document that we used in the first demo. Just want to show you the end user experience when downloaded password protected files. Again, Votiro web download browser plugin is enabled. You can see over on the left-hand side, my Kylie Linux exploit is there no exploits running at this time. There's no sessions. So when I download this file this time, we're going to get a little different process. So download started, sanitizing the file, and you'll see that I get a blocked PDF. So if I open up this blocked PDF file, and this can be customized for your organization, your logos, your wording, but basically this is for a user that was expecting a file and they have the password. So they click on I have a password, and this gives them a chance to download that. So if I download this password protected file with Henry's last four of his ID number 1234, and I get this file, Henry's going to be protected now. As soon as I give this password, it will forward this password to the Votiro secure file gateway, and the secure file gateway will open the file, sanitize the file, and then re-encrypt it with that same password. So we click get file, and you'll see that now the file has been returned as a Word document. The difference between this Word document and the original one is the malicious macros have been removed. If I click on open document, it's still password protected. So I still need to enter my password. But again, this is a clean version of that same file. If I click OK, you'll see that the big difference here is the macro has been removed. There's no macro in the file, and no exploit happened on the Metasploit server. So again, near real time. The only difference to the end user is when they have a password protected file. And as you know, most organizations today with password protected files will either block the files or allow the block the file completely and have the user reach out to the help desk if they need to get access to it, which is overhead on the help desk, as well as hampers the employees' productivity. We want the employees to be as productive as possible and not slow down the process. So again, this way, the other way that a lot of organizations do today is they will just allow password protected files in and hope that their endpoint security is able to protect against the threat. Votiro looks at it a little different. We want to sanitize that file by stopping it at the file gateway, opening it up, sanitizing it, forwarding it to the end user. Online file sharing and communications will continue to be a major part of the work landscape. With the success of social engineering and phishing attempts, we can expect to see threat actors leveraging malicious links and download. It's not effective to put the responsibility of security on your end users. You, of course, want to keep them educated, but you can't leave it up to them. There will be mistakes. And there are preventive solutions such as Votiro that are effective without hindering productivity or requiring a heavy lift from the existing security team. And thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending the time with us today, and we'll open it up for questions now. Thanks again.